Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade. Well, patch 8.1 has arrived to live servers, and with it a lot of changes. Luckily for Retribution Paladins, this means buffs. So in this video I will make a guide for this patch so you guys get all the necessary information to use your Retribution Paladins at its most. So with that out of the way, let's start with the video. Okay guys, so let's talk about Azerite Traits. In this part I will be talking about the new additions of Azerite Traits that we have in patch 8.1, and I will be also separating the best single target ones from the best AoE ones. So let's start with this part. So we got two new additions of Azerite Traits in our arsenal, and these are Light's Decree and Imperium Power. Light's Decree increases the duration of our Avenging Wrath and Crusade by 5 seconds. It also makes it so when we use a Holy Power spending ability, we deal AoE damage in an area. So the next one is Imperium Power. Imperium Power makes that our attacks have a chance to make our next Divine Storm free and deal extra damage. This has a 2 procs per minute proc rate, and well, these are incredibly powerful traits and are both mandatory at least one in AoE and single target situations. So that leaves us with one slot of Azerite gear to fill with other traits. And I will talk now about the best single target traits to use in that slot. So for single target, the last slot to fill in our Azerite gear should be with one of these traits: Dagger in the Back, Relentless Inquisitor, Razan's Fury, Blightborn Infusion, and Tidal Surge. Note that if you are raiding, you should use an Archive of the Titans or a Laser Matrix trait in the last slot because you get the bonus from Uldir. So now let's go to our AoE options. Okay, so for our last AoE slot of Azerite gear, we can get the next options. We can fill it with another Light's Decree, another Imperium Power, Blightborn Infusion, Relentless Inquisitor, or Trade Winds. Also note that, as in the single target case, if you're doing raiding, you can fill it up with an Archive of the Titans or Laser Matrix trait, since they give us the extra stats bonus from Uldir. Okay guys, now that we talked about our Azerite traits, let's talk about our talents. So on the role level 15, we got Zeal, Righteous Verdict, and Execution Sentence. And Zeal and Righteous Verdict are the ones that are viable. Zeal is better for AoE situations, and it lets us use our Divine Storm on 2 targets. And Righteous Verdict is our go-to single target talent here. When we use Righteous Verdict, we can use Divine Storm on 3 targets or more. On the role level 30, we got Fires of Justice, Blade of Wrath, and Hammer of Wrath. The 3 are viable, but one thing to note is that Fires of Justice and Blade of Wrath work better with Divine Purpose, and Hammer of Wrath works better with Crusade and Inquisition. So on the level 45 row, this is our CC row, we got Fist of Justice, Repentance, and Blinding Light. I normally take Fist of Justice, but if you need more CC on your Mythic Plus runs, or for any situations, you can take Repentance or Blinding Light. On the level 60 row, we got Divine Judgment, Consecration, and Wake of Ashes. The one that we have to ignore is Divine Judgment because it lags far behind Consecration and Wake of Ashes. Consecration has its uses, but you have to know if the trash will be tanked on top of your Consecration, because if not, you will lose the damage. I recommend taking Wake of Ashes to do damage up front and get the instant 5 Holy Power. Also, we get utility slowing our targets by 50% for 5 seconds, and we can also stun demons or undeads. So on the role level 75, we got our defensives and mobility. So I normally would take Unbreakable Spirit because it not only reduces the cooldown of our Divine Shield, Shield of Vengeance, and Lay on Hands, it also increases our DPS just a bit because it makes it possible to use our Shield of Vengeance more often. Other than that, you can choose Cavalier if you need the mobility, or Eye for an Eye to defend yourself in skittish weeks for Mythic Plus. On the roll level 90, we should ignore just the Curse Vengeance. The healing doesn't justify the price of 5 Holy Power, and it also doesn't increase our damage by any meaningful amount. We should choose between Selfless Healer and Word of Glory. Word of Glory is great to keep up your group up in certain difficult Mythic Plus affixes, but if you're not struggling with that, you can take Selfless Healer to help healing just a bit. On roll level 100 we have Divine Purpose, Crusade and Inquisition. So the three of them are pretty close together in what's single target damage, but Divine Purpose is better for Mythic Plus and AoE. Another thing to note is that, like I said before, Fires of Justice and Blade of Wrath work better with Divine Purpose, and Hammer of Wrath works better with Crusade and Inquisition. So it comes down to personal preference on which of these talents you want to use and the situation you are. Okay guys, let's talk about stat priorities. So stat priorities are pretty tricky since they vary a lot from person to person and depending on what gear you have at your disposal. Also vary a lot depending on the traits you have and talents. So to have a better understanding of this, I'd recommend you to sim yourself using Simcraft and Raidbots. But I will give here in this part a general recommendation of what stat priorities you should have in mind to do the content you want. So I will talk about first single target stat priority. So for single target, we want to get Strength, followed by Haste, followed by Crit, Versatility and Mastery tied together. And for AoE, you want to get first Strength, followed by Mastery, followed by Haste, followed by Critical Strength and Versatility tied in the end. So as I said before guys, these are not set in stone, it may vary a lot in case-to-case basis, so I still recommend you to sim yourself using Raidbots and Simcraft. Okay, let's go now to the rotation part of the video. So I will show you myself hitting a target dummy, and I will be swapping from talent to talent to show you the rotation you should follow. Okay guys, so this one is using Divine Purpose and Blade of Wrath as talents. So I pop Wings, I use Blade of Wrath and Judgment, I spend, then I use Wake of Ashes and keep spending. This is one of the simpler rotations since we don't have to use any upkeep like in Inquisition, or don't have to pre-plan it like for Crusade. Now let's go to the next one with Crusade. Okay, so for this one we're using Crusade and Hammer of Wrath. We start by building Holy Power, then spending, then using Wake of Ashes, spending, and from that point on we use Hammer of Wrath on cooldown to get the most of it in our Crusade duration. So this is pretty similar to the Divine Purpose one, just we build Holy Power before popping our wings so we can get the Crusade stack generation going as fast as possible. Okay, now let's go to the Inquisition build. Okay, so this is the Inquisition and Hammer of Wrath build. So for this we build 3 Holy Power, we use Inquisition, we use our wings, then Wake of Ashes and start building and spending. From that point on, always use Hammer of Wrath on cooldown and don't forget to keep your Inquisition debuff buff up at all times. So as you can see, our rotations are pretty similar after the start, and one thing to have in mind is if you have the Inferium Power Azerite Trait, you want to use the proc as a filler when you run out of cooldowns to build Holy Power. Okay, so in this last part I just want to talk about the channel and the future of it guys. So I didn't make a dedicated part in this video for our Biz Azerite gear, since with the new 8.2 patch a lot will change, and with the extra added Azerite ring. And well, when the time comes, I'll make a more in-depth guide for it. I also want to make a PvP guide for Retribution Paladin since we got a lot of nerfs in that part. I'll also be making some more lore-oriented videos, top 10s or top 5 videos about WoW, and Well guys, that's the end of the video. I hope it was useful, and if it was, consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching.